So I guess the first part I want to cover is just the reality of growing out of friendships and how normal it is. I think a lot of people have these feelings, which I will get into, of, ad- I guess, addressing or having concerns or doubt about a relationship or some conflict, and they perhaps look inwards and go, "Well, what have I done? Like, why do I feel so strange about this relationship?" Especially if you've had that friend in your life for so many years, but I just want to reassure you, like not every friendship is meant to last forever. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad person, they're a bad person, the relationship is a failure. It's really, really important to address, I guess, some friendship end, some. I just want to reiterate with this notion that just because a friendship ends, it's not because of hate, but it's because of healing. It's about that friendship hasn't worked because of possibly growth, your values and who you are becoming as a person, and we're growing up together. So it's not necessarily that either of you are bad people or the relationship was bad. And don't get me wrong, some situations of breaking up with a friend is absolutely because the other person is an asshole. But there are some times where it's difficult to go, well, why do I feel like I don't want to be this person's friend anymore? Nothing's really happened. We haven't had a fight. We haven't had a big blow up, but I don't want to be their friend anymore. And that's when it's difficult to break up with them, because how do you start that dialogue, or how do you start that process if there's nothing to go, clearly you're a piece of shit friend. That's why I want to break up with you. That's why this is really important and why it's difficult. I guess the reality of why you might outgrow friendships is definitely as you grow, as you change. For me personally, doing personal development since I was 19 years old, I am just so interested in learning about myself and how the brain works, and in particular, how my brain works and why I say certain things and why I decide certain things and do certain things. And as I do that, and you learn what you do like, what you don't like, you quickly go, like that person no longer serves or is in alignment with those list of things that I've learned about myself. And that's just life. That's why we outgrow people the more we continue to grow ourselves. I just want to validate, I think, a very normal emotion that comes up for people, especially women, when I guess you're confronted with that feeling of not wanting to be friends with someone. And that feeling is guilt or perhaps shame for drifting away. And this is normally associated when you've had a lifelong friends, like you went to school together, you're now in your 20s or 30s, and you're like, I'm obviously not the same person I was when I was 10 years old, and what we had in common was school camp. Like, you still respect that person and you still admire and honor and love that person, but that does not mean that they have to be someone in your life moving forward for whatever reason. And establish there's a difference between having people in your life that you're still on good terms with, but it doesn't necessarily mean you go out of your way in terms of time and energy to see that person on a regular basis. We're talking about like the energy it takes to nurture a friendship and continue nurturing that friendship. And we'll get to that. But I just want to acknowledge, like, a lot of people will feel that guilt or shame when they feel themselves drifting away from people. Now, the very obvious thing is things to look out for. Things to look out for that you go, okay, I'm outgrowing this person or this friendship. What's that relationship or that dynamic that you guys have together? So a couple of things you want to look out for. You have either already experienced them, or I'm about to start listing them off and you're going, yeah, I'm feeling all of these things. That means it's time to take action. Okay. I'm out of breath. A couple of things to look out for. Okay. You feel like when you are conversing with them, when you do catch up with them, your conversations and your communication is very surface level. It's like, oh, how's the weather? How's your mom? Things like that. There's no really deep and meaningful, life changing conversations with them anymore. You want friends that kind of challenge you and support you and nurture you and, are your biggest cheerleader, not really surface level, like you ran into someone at the grocery store. Your house, Jeff? Oh, yeah, great. Moving on. Like, I don't have time for those kind of friendships in my life anymore. Do you know what I mean? Acquaintance versus friend.